Hello, this is Michael Hexter, and welcome to Politics 2100 here on YouTube. So, this episode I'm calling Cenk Uygur's tendency toward self promotion undermines TYT's truth telling mission. So, I'm a subscriber to the Young Turks, TYT, for 5-6 years, for a while. And I listen to them often. I think they offer a solid, progressive political perspective on many issues. There are areas where they're weak. There are areas where they could develop. And in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their sort of framework they use to interpret the world. But they are, in general, a net positive for the U.S. progressive left, but they shouldn't also be treated as gospel either, or as beyond criticism. So, in any case, what I'm teasing out here today, is a tone and not just a tone, but a tendency, a reflex that Cenk Uygur uses, or that he talks about, and it's become part of his patter on the show, and it, in my opinion, cheapens and undermines TYT's truth-telling / journalistic mission. Okay, now TYT is a network with many shows, and I think they produce over 9 hours worth of programming per day, at least on weekdays. And they do have some reporters. They do some original reporting that is outweighed, though, by the number of commentators they have. So there's news commentary, there's news analysis that they offer, and they are often getting content, not without attributing it, but getting content from other, and often critiquing other perspectives on the news, often from corporate media, that they use then to make their content. So, and they are on, in case you didn't know, they're on YouTube, as I am as well, but they are vastly larger than me, okay, in terms of their reach and in terms of the number of people involved, and their their production process. So, but anyway, so what I'm commenting on is sort of the most obvious expression of the thing I'm criticizing is Cenk saying we're the fairest show on television, or fairest show on the internet, I think is what he says. So anyway, he is blowing the horn often. He does his own PR often. Okay, in his he is a host 3 days a week approximately on their main show, which is at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and I look forward to him and his commentary. I find it interesting, even if I disagree with it. And as I also find his often co-host, Anna Kasparian's commentary as well, interesting. He is often, though, he tends to, does controversial things. I did an episode recently about their contrarianism and his I call it both sides contrarianism. So, but in this case, what I'm talking about is the tendency towards self-promotion. So, saying they're the fairest show on television, on the internet, I'm sorry, or also making comparisons to other shows where you get the sense that when you listen to Cenk, he is being forced to credit other shows, but he doesn't consider himself to be part of a web of progressive commentators, not only commentators, but news organizations, literally, that are for instance, Democracy Now! And In These Times and The Nation and The Lever. And so even though he has some of these people sometimes on his show, when he represents himself, he's often promoting. He's constantly promoting TYT, and he is ebullient in this way, which is, I mean, bubbly. Okay, in he does it, and he's a bullish personality, and so that fits his role in a way as a businessman. So he is running a business. So in being both the commentator and the owner, or the part owner, or the toll owner of TYT, I haven't looked into what the exact ownership, but anyway, he is certainly the boss over there. He basically has as his mission also to increase subscribership, increase viewership, so forth and so on. So it's understandable in a way that he's doing self-promotion, but to me, it undermines in a way the larger vision. So the really the big vision of TYT, in my opinion, or of a progressive internet program or internet network, you could say, would be to become a reliable, absolutely, rock solid source for information, and also that people could use your commentary, or use your news reporting and your commentary as the nearest thing to gospel as you could imagine. So it will never be gospel in the sense that you'll never have an unquestioning relationship to any secular news source or any source, period, secular or non-secular. You shouldn't. You should have a critical listening / viewing stance. But anyway, but this self-promotion really falls down, I think. When he talks, for instance, about, one of my pet peeves about it is when he says MSNBC is a uniformly pro corporate Democrat channel, and it is that maybe 95%. Okay, so but there are, for instance, Mehdi Hassan does offer different perspectives that are not uniformly pro-Biden or pro-corporate Democrat. In fact, he's quite critical of corporate Democrats, and sometimes even leading, in a way, TYT, or at least on certain stories, at least, and also in terms of his opinion, his commentary. And if you listen to Cenk, you would never know that there was a Mehdi Hassan on MSNBC. Now, that could be a ploy of MSNBC to try to undermine TYT or other progressive news sources and say, well, look, we're MSNBC, but we also have this small fraction of our programming that is critical of the mainstream of the Democratic Party. But still, I mean, Mehdi Hassan's voice is growing on MSNBC. He's seen a fair amount on the network. His new book, Win Every Argument, has gotten him on a lot of the primetime shows on MSNBC. And he is clearly an effort of MSNBC, at least, to address that dissatisfied edge of the progressive base of the Democratic Party that is looking for perspectives that are not just head nodding pro-corporate Democrat commentary and news reporting. So anyway, and that's not the only problem with Cenk's self-promotion, and also just saying we're the fairest show on the internet, or we're in America, fairest show in America. Okay, it's it's bound not to be true. It's just simply, that kind of statement is just the statement of a shill for anything. Okay. Literally, even if you believe very strongly in what you do and you think it's very, very high quality, you don't want to be in a position to be boasting, especially in the context of news and so forth and so on. And you don't want to be boasting in that level of thing. And of course, now there's built into the sort of TYT universe, including Anna Kasparian, who's sort of the foil for Cenk Uygur. I mean, Anna Kasparian is, I think, disapproving of exactly the thing that I'm talking about, but she is an employee of Cenk Uygur. She can't really, she also, her, salary is dependent on the memberships or whatever it is he brings in, or if it is him that bring them in. But anyway, in any case, that are brought in to the network and so forth and so on. And so she can only go so far in criticizing him. But in any case, there's sort of certainly she does have a clucking or a tisking disapproval. Sorry, don't mean to say that. A tisk disapproval of Cenk's sort of self-promotion and sort of business, advertisements, essentially on-air advertisements that he does for TYT. And so I think that there needs to be, within Cenk, but also within the network, a sense of a division between advertising and reporting and commentary. So that is kind of all over the place there. That Cenk needs to realize that his role as a businessman is separate from his role as a commentator, is separate from his role as a reporter. So he tends not to be doing the reporting. He has someone else do reporting, and he does commentary, which is okay, which is sort of an acknowledgement of what I'm talking about. But that needs to go further in that in his commentary, he says, well, fairest show on in America, sort of, so to speak. And he wants to be admired for, and again, this is also contrarianism. Often he is using a contrarian stance to say, well, that's being fair. Well, being contrarian and being fair are two different things. He's being contrarian often against when he says fairest show in America. He's giving a concession to often a right wing or even a centrist or a right wing view. He's sort of saying, "Oh, I'm conceding this to someone," and so so I defied your stereotype of what a left wing show would be. So is that being fair? Maybe, or maybe not. So maybe calling it fairest show in America, now we're supposed to be tickled by Cenk's, self-presentation and so forth, which I find, I find him, he seems like a friendly guy. I mean, I met him once, very, very briefly in Oakland, California at a demonstration. He probably doesn't remember me. And I just sort of said hi to him, so forth and so on. But anyway, I find him, a sympathetic character, so to speak. I support what he does. I'm interested in when he's on the show, what he has to say. So anyway, I think he could be more disciplined in dividing those two sides of the business in his commentary itself, and also to stop the hyperbole, like saying fairest or best or so forth and so on. It brings down the level of the actual reporting, and so let people judge whether you're the fairest or not. Let them judge. It's for the audience to judge whether you're the fairest or not. It's not for you to claim it. Okay. So anyway, I think then you could continue on to talk about, to try to be as truthful as possible. I appreciate their willingness to correct themselves. So in some sense, I do think they're doing a pretty good job on truth telling. So I'm not saying this self-promotional vein of the commentary is dominant, but it's there, and it undermines TYT's credibility, I think. So anyway, and again, that's my opinion. That's not, I think they could be as successful or more successful by just being a little bit more disciplined in this area of making these distinctions, and it would come across as, I would trust them more, okay, if they were clear on saying, well, okay, this is an ad for TYT, and this is my commentary, this is the reporting, okay. And so anyway, please share your thoughts and your experiences. I mean, I have other reflections on TYT and other things I would want to say about them, but I want to be disciplined in my episode by episode commentary. But anyway, so please share your thoughts about this and related issues in the comment section below. Please like the video if this is interesting thoughts here in some form or another. And also please subscribe to Politics 2100, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.